What if I told you that the most dangerous women aren't the ones who yell or insult? They're the ones who quietly say things that erode your value, test your self-worth, and leave you chasing clarity that will never come. Here's the Stoic truth. You don't lose your power all at once, you give it away, one subtle phrase at a time. When a woman says things like, "You're too nice," "I don't know what I want, let's just see where this goes," she's not being honest. She's keeping you emotionally invested without committing to anything real. Right now, you may be trying to prove you're worthy, waiting for her to change, or hoping she'll finally choose you. But a Stoic man doesn't wait for mixed signals to become love. He reads the signs early and walks with clarity before confusion breaks him down. If you're ready to recognize the 5 phrases that demand silence, not effort, like this video, subscribe, turn on notifications, and comment. I protect my value with distance. Number 1. Recognizing the dangerous phrases. Sometimes, it's not betrayal that wounds us first, it's the sentence before it. A few words, casually dropped in a heated moment or calmly delivered in cold indifference, can change the entire emotional temperature of a relationship. I don't owe you anything. You're too emotional. These phrases are not just frustrating, they are warnings, like smoke before fire. They signal a deeper erosion of respect, trust, and partnership. Every man who values his peace, purpose, and self-respect must learn to recognize these signals not as isolated outbursts, but as patterns indicators of a mentality that does not belong in a healthy connection. At first glance, they may seem like expressions of independence or honesty, but beneath the surface lies something darker: avoidance of responsibility, emotional manipulation, and a refusal to grow. These phrases are not red flags. They are stop signs. They are reminders that not every argument deserves resolution, and not every woman deserves your emotional investment. The modern dating world often romanticizes strong personalities and complicated women, but many men fail to see that complexity without accountability is just chaos dressed as charm. In this piece, we'll explore 5 dangerous phrases that reveal more than you think. I don't owe you anything. That's just how I am. I want a man who can handle me. You're too emotional. You're lucky to have me. Each of these reveals a pattern of behavior that Stoic men must address, not with anger, but with awareness, not with fear, but with boundaries. As Marcus Aurelius once said, you have power over your mind, not outside events, and that includes how you choose to interpret and respond to these subtle assaults on your dignity. This isn't about vilifying women. It's about empowering men to detect emotional dishonesty early and walk away with peace and purpose intact. You are not obligated to tolerate manipulation masked as independence. You are not weak for choosing to leave, or for refusing to fix someone who has no intention of evolving. Now, speak out and comment below. I protect my peace over her chaos. Number 2. I don't owe you anything, lack of emotional responsibility. At first, it sounds like independence, but dig deeper, and you'll realize that when a woman says, "I don't owe you anything," she isn't standing up for boundaries, she's dismantling connection. This phrase doesn't just dismiss accountability, it reveals a mindset that refuses mutual responsibility, turning a shared relationship into a one-sided transaction. Imagine this: you show up consistently, offer presence, attention, maybe even emotional or financial support, and one day, you bring up the imbalance. Instead of curiosity or care, you're met with a cold shrug and the words, "I don't owe you anything." That's not strength, that's entitlement. What this phrase truly signals is a lack of emotional maturity. It implies, "I'll take, but I won't give. I'll expect, but I won't reciprocate." In Stoic terms, it violates the principle of justice, the virtue that governs fair exchange and mutual respect in all human interactions. Women who speak this way often weaponize independence to mask irresponsibility. It's a way to silence your feelings while justifying self-centered behavior. You become the one who must prove his worth, carry the emotional weight, and accept the absence of empathy under the guise of not being owed. The impact. You begin to question yourself. You suppress your expectations. You shrink in order to keep the peace. But peace built on self-abandonment is not peace, it's quiet suffering. And over time, you'll lose not only her respect, but your own. The Stoic response is not to argue, bug, or explain. It's to observe and walk away with clarity, not resentment. A woman who respects you doesn't need to be convinced to show basic reciprocity. She offers it because she sees your value and wants to protect the space between you. You don't need to demand what should be freely given. Your dignity is not a debt she chooses whether or not to repay. It is the foundation you stand on, and the moment she tries to bulldoze it with phrases like this, your response must be calm and absolute. Now, comment below, I walk away when respect walks out. Number 3, that's just how I am, a refusal to grow. There's a quiet danger in the phrase, that's just how I am. It seems harmless, almost self-aware, but when used to justify harmful behavior, it becomes a deadbolt on the door of growth. Behind it lies a refusal to evolve, a rejection of responsibility, and an expectation that you should adjust, not her. You'll hear this when you express your discomfort with her coldness, jealousy, or mood swings. Instead of reflecting or asking how to improve, she shrugs it off. That's just who I am. It's not humility, it's immaturity wearing the mask of self-acceptance. In the Stoic framework, this violates wisdom, the virtue that asks us to align our nature with reason, not excuse our impulses. True wisdom doesn't defend dysfunction, it examines it, refines it, and aspires toward a higher version of self. When a woman says this, she's telling you, don't expect more from me. I've stopped growing, so you'll have to shrink. And if you accept it, you enter into a dynamic where your standards become a threat, your boundaries feel like burdens, and your emotional needs are cast as unreasonable. She may call her behavior real, raw, or unfiltered, but rawness is not power, discipline is, and authenticity is only admirable when it comes with accountability. The tragedy, men often stay in these relationships out of hope. You think your love will inspire change. You think patience will earn transformation. But the more you tolerate stagnation, the more your soul erodes, because love without mutual growth becomes a one-man journey. The Stoic man doesn't argue with stubbornness. He doesn't waste energy trying to fix someone who denies there's a crack in the foundation. He walks away, not to punish her, but to protect himself, because a woman who resists evolution is not ready for a man who lives by principle. You deserve a partner who sees growth not as a threat, but as a shared path, who hears your concerns not as attacks, but as opportunities, who says, that's how I was, but I can be better. Now, speak out, I grow, and I outgrow what refuses to. Number 4, I want a man who can handle me. Boundary testing disguised as attraction. At first, this phrase sounds like a challenge, even a compliment. I want a man who can handle me. It suggests strength, boldness, maybe even a spark of passion, but dig deeper, and you'll find something more dangerous beneath the surface, a disguised test of how much disrespect you're willing to tolerate. This isn't about wanting a strong partner. It's about seeing how far she can push your limits before you break. In reality, when a woman says this, she's often inviting you into a dynamic where the relationship is no longer a space of mutual respect, but a proving ground. She wants to see if you'll endure the mood swings, the verbal jabs, the emotional sabotage, and still stay. She equates endurance with love, and silence with strength. But from a Stoic perspective, endurance is not the same as virtue. True strength isn't measured by how much chaos you can survive, but by how calmly you can walk away from what insults your peace. This phrase is an invitation into a Gamma game where your emotional well-being is pitted against her need for control. And the more you handle her, the less she respects you, Because deep down, a woman doesn't admire a man who bends to every emotional storm. She admires the man who calmly steps out of the storm and invites her to meet him in the sun. You'll recognize the signs shall create drama to test your reaction, escalate arguments to see how far you'll go, or withdraw affection to manipulate your attention. And if you respond with pleading, explaining, or chasing, the test is failed. Not because you didn't love her, but because you didn't love yourself more. Stoic wisdom teaches us that self-respect is not earned through endurance, but through boundaries. You don't need to prove your worth by withstanding firestorms of chaos. Your strength is in your stillness, your refusal to dance with drama or compete in emotional games. So the next time you hear, "I want a man who can handle me," translate it clearly, "I want a man who will accept behavior I refuse to change." You are not here to handle chaos. You are here to invite peace. Now, comment below, "My boundaries are not negotiable." Number 5. You're too emotional, twisting your strength into shame. Few phrases cut deeper than this one. You're too emotional. It's not just dismissive, it's strategically designed to shame. When a woman says this, she's not simply commenting on your feelings. She's reframing your emotional clarity as weakness, redirecting attention from her behavior to your reaction. It's a classic deflection. This statement often appears when you've called out disrespect, asked for clarity, or simply expressed discomfort. Instead of addressing the issue, she turns the lens on you. You're overreacting. You're being sensitive. Calm down. With those words, the real problem disappears into the background, and you're left questioning your own sanity. From a Stoic lens, this is emotional manipulation masked as critique. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. That includes power over how you receive such tactics." Just because she labels your boundaries as emotional doesn't mean they lack value. In fact, the ability to feel and still choose restraint is a sign of mastery, not fragility. A man who can calmly say, "This behavior doesn't sit right with me," is not weak. He is aware, and awareness is the first step to leadership. But here's the danger if you accept this framing. You'll start censoring yourself. You'll avoid expressing truth for fear of seeming needy or dramatic. Eventually, you'll silence your instincts to maintain peace while losing your self-respect in the process. Women do not respect men who tiptoe. They admire men who stand firm in quiet truth. If she can't hold space for your emotional intelligence, she is not ready for emotional partnership. Love cannot thrive where truth is shamed. So when she says, "You're too emotional," do not argue, do not explain. Instead, return to your still center, respond with presence, not defense, and ask yourself, is this someone who honors truth or only tolerates comfort? Your feelings are not a weakness, they are a compass, and any relationship that demands you ignore them is not one worth keeping. Now, speak out. My emotions are valid, and I stand by them. Number 6. You're lucky to have me, a disguised power play. When a woman says, "You're lucky to have me," it might sound playful at first, like a confident tease, but beneath the charm often lies something far more serious, a subtle assertion of superiority. It's not affection, it's positioning. It implies that your worth is secondary, that her presence is a favor rather than a mutual connection. This phrase is not just arrogant, it's a calculated attempt to shift the power dynamic. When repeated, it conditions you to seek approval, to prove your worth, and to fear losing her. In doing so, it places her on a pedestal you never agreed to build. Over time, you may begin to perform rather than lead, to please rather than live. From a Stoic perspective, this is a test of dignitas, your internal sense of worth. Epictetus said, "Know first who you are, and then adorn yourself accordingly." A man rooted in his own value doesn't need to be told he's lucky. He already knows his presence is a gift, not a debt to repay. The truth is, real connection is mutual admiration, not one-sided worship. If she truly respects you, she won't need to remind you of your fortune because she'll feel just as fortunate to be with you. The moment a relationship becomes about hierarchy instead of harmony, it begins to rot from the inside. And let's be clear, when someone believes they are the prize, they begin to act like it. You'll notice it in dismissive comments, a lack of gratitude, an expectation that you should always initiate, plan, or chase. She stops meeting you in the middle because, in her mind, she is already ahead. But here's the danger if you accept this framing, even once. You validate it. You begin to overinvest, to compensate, to prove yourself worthy of someone who has already decided you aren't. And that's when attraction dies. Not because you weren't enough, but because you stopped being yourself. The solution is not confrontation, it's calm disengagement. Don't argue, don't explain, simply step back and let her feel the absence of your energy. True respect is earned in your silence, in your unwillingness to play a rigged game. Remember, a woman who sees your value will never need to assert her own. She'll show it through support, partnership, and mutual pride, not one-liners meant to keep you chasing. A stoic man doesn't compete for validation. He lives from within, leads with principle, and walks away from anything that demands he shrink. Now, comment below. I know my value. I don't need to be reminded of it. Number 7. Bonus red flags. The phrases that quietly undermine you. Not all manipulative phrases come dressed in bold colours. Some are whispered quietly, so subtle they pass under your radar until they've already chipped away at your confidence. Two such phrases often appear when a woman feels confronted or when she seeks control without confrontation. You're insecure for thinking that. This isn't just a casual remark, it's a direct attack on your intuition. You express concern over her behaviour, maybe her closeness with another man, sudden distance, or shifting tone, and instead of discussing it, she flips the mirror back on you. Suddenly, your awareness becomes your weakness. By labeling your instinct as insecurity, she attempts to disarm your judgment. It's not about the truth anymore, it's about controlling the narrative. You're left second-guessing yourself, wondering if your emotional compass is broken. This is classic gaslighting in soft disguise. A stoic man, however, does not outsource his clarity. He knows that emotional awareness is not fragility, it's leadership. He understands that to feel something is off is not paranoia, it's wisdom knocking at the door. And when someone mocks that wisdom, it's not love, it's control. The right response is silence, then distance. You don't need to explain your instincts, you need to honor them. When someone uses your honesty against you, they've disqualified themselves from deeper access to your soul. If you really loved me, you would. This phrase turns love into a weapon. It's not an invitation to connect, it's a manipulation to conform. It puts you in an emotional chokehold. Prove your love by doing something you don't want to do. Say yes to guilt. Say no to yourself. Love should never require a sacrifice of your core values. Yet this phrase pressures you to become someone else for the sake of someone who refuses to meet you halfway. Over time, these requests pile up small compromises that, eventually, make you a stranger in your own skin. From a stoic lens, this is a test of virtues, the courage to remain aligned with your higher self. You love not by surrendering your boundaries, but by standing in them. If your love must be measured by submission, then it was never love. It was a transaction disguised as affection. The proper response, clarity, then exit. You don't need to prove your love to someone who uses it as a bargaining chip. Let your departure be your declaration. A woman who truly loves you will never force you to betray yourself. She'll invite you into mutual growth, not conditional acceptance. Now, speak out and comment below. Real love doesn't ask me to shrink. Number 8. Conclusion. Protecting your dignity through stoic awareness. Some phrases don't just carry words, they carry warnings. I don't owe you anything. That's just how I am. You're too emotional. These are not harmless expressions of independence. They are subtle signals of misalignment flags that don't wave but burn. When a woman says these things, she's not merely revealing her boundaries, she's revealing her unwillingness to honor yours. And for the Stoic man, dignity is not negotiable. He does not argue for basic respect. He does not debate over the right to be heard. He does not plead for space in a heart already closed. He simply walks away, because he knows what many never learn, that peace is more valuable than proximity, that self-respect matters more than temporary affection, that the man who can walk away is the one who never has to chase. In a world that tells men to earn love by enduring mistreatment, the Stoic path is a rebellion. It says no. No to manipulation disguised as romance. No to chaos framed as passion. No to apologies you shouldn't have to make. Instead, it offers a new model, one built on integrity, purpose, and stillness, where love is not a test of endurance, but a dance of mutual recognition, where you don't have to shrink to stay, where your boundaries are not barriers, but invitations to meet you at your highest self. You are not here to fix her. You are not here to prove your worth. You are here to embody it. So the next time you hear, "You're lucky to have me," remember you are, but so is she. And if she forgets that, the door is your answer. The strongest men are not the ones who win arguments. They're the ones who never explain why they walked away. They let silence speak for their standards. They let absence echo louder than justification. Because a Stoic doesn't fight for love. He cultivates it. And if love cannot rise to meet him, it's not where he belongs. Now, comment below. My standards are my strength, no apology needed. You came here hoping she'd change her mind. But now you understand some women speak in riddles, not because they're confused, but because they enjoy being chased. Carl Jung said, "People will do anything, no matter how absurd, to avoid facing their own soul." And when a woman avoids clarity, commitment, or emotional responsibility, she's not ready for real love. The Stoic man doesn't fight to be seen. He doesn't explain himself endlessly. He watches the words she repeats and respects himself enough to leave. If she says, "I'm not ready for something serious. I'm just figuring things out," you deserve better. Don't interpret it. Don't chase it. Don't fix it. Believe it and walk. If you're ready to stop giving energy to confusion and start standing in certainty, like this video, subscribe, and comment. I walk away from what weakens me. Stay focused, stay dignified. Because the strongest move is not proving your worth, it's protecting it.